Okay, so tomorrow you have a test over triangles. So I want you to try to, before you watch this video, spend 20 minutes working on, I believe it's 12 problems. 20 minutes working on the problems yourself and kind of use this video as a check to see if you did the problems correctly. That way that you are learning and you're aware of what you know versus what you need to know and what you need to concentrate on in this video. So 20 minutes, press pause, work that out, and then come back when you're done. Okay, so if you are on number 1 on this video, it means that you spent 20 minutes trying to solve this work on your own. And so number 1 says classify the triangle by its angles and its sides. Okay, so for its sides, we are going to start off by looking, and you can make these notes, that way you can study. Look for tick marks. Okay, so in this case, I happen to have 3 of the same amount of tick marks on all sides. So what does it mean for tick marks? It means that tick marks mean equal. Okay, so in this case, I have 3 sides that are equal to each other. That means that that is an equilateral triangle. Okay, but I need it's by its angles and its sides. So angles, in this case, we don't know the angles, but what we do know is that it's an equilateral triangle. And if we know and memorized from the video, where I told you that all 3 angles of an equilateral, all 3 angles equal 180 degrees. And if it's an equilateral triangle, then all 3 angles are equal. And more specifically, all 3 angles are 60 degrees. So I know this is super fancy right here, but essentially this 3x is equal to 60 degrees. And we don't need to know that. We don't need to solve that. We just know that in equilateral triangle, all angles are equal. So this is an acute equilateral triangle. And moving on to number 2. What are the possible angles of an obtuse scalene triangle? Okay, so on the test on this problem, it is going to give you multiple choice, and it's going to ask you which one of these is an obtuse scalene triangle. So just knowing what these words mean. So obtuse means angles greater than 90 degrees. Or I should say, not angles, but I should say one angle. Okay, and what does it mean to be scalene? To be scalene means no sides are equal. So as long as you wrote for your side length 3 sides that are not equal, I'm just going to make sure that you can read that. It looks kind of bright. 4 sides. Okay, so none of my sides can be equal. So I could just make up a measurement of like one side is 14 centimeters, another side is 11 centimeters, and another side is 16 centimeters. Super careful that you keep your measurements the same, because remember, if I have to add 14 plus 11, and it has to be greater than 16, which it is. 11 plus 16 has to be greater than 14, which it is. And 11 plus, 14 plus 16 has to be greater than 11, which it is. For it to be accurate, but essentially the sides, none are the same, right? And then angles add up to be 180 degrees. So if I need one angle greater than 90 to make my life easier, I would do 100 degrees, and then 180 minus 100 is 80 left over. So then two angles that equal add up to 80 would be something like 50 degrees and 30 degrees. So if I were to add all those up, it would be 180 degrees and I have an obtuse angle right here. So again, this will be multiple choice. And so you would just look at the answer options and see which ones match the description. Number 3 says, Matt is trying to make a triangle with some scraps of wood he found. And these scraps are 2.1 inches, 7.9 inches, and 4 inches long. Will he be able to make a triangle with these scraps of wood? So this is your triangle inequality where you have three numbers, 2.1, 7.9, and 4. Okay, and so the rule for triangle inequalities is that we can add two sides and the total is greater, not greater than or equal to, but greater than the third side. Okay, so I'm just going to label these 1, 2, 3 sides. Okay, so here I have side 1 and side 2. So 2.1 plus 7.9, and it has to be greater than 4. So then I would go off to the side, 2.1, 7.9, that's 10, bring my decimal straight down. So yeah, 10 is greater than 4. Cool, that one works. This was 1 plus 2. And then now I have side 2 and 3. So I'm going to do 2 plus 3. So side 2, which is 7.9, plus side 3, which is 4. It has to be greater than side 1. And side 1 is 2.1. So 7.9 plus 4, 7 plus 4 is 11. So 11.9 is greater than 2.1. Yeah, that works. And then, so now what's left is side 1 plus side 3. Side 1, so I'm just writing down the numbers. Side 1 is 2.1 plus side 3, which is 4. That has to be greater than side 2, which is 7.9. So again, adding two of the sides together and making sure it's greater than that third side. 2 plus 4 is 6. So 6.1 is greater than 7.9. No, it's not. So anytime you get a no, you can stop. It just so happens this was the last one that we had to do, so it didn't really give us a break. But if you get a no on the first try, so maybe evaluating your numbers and maybe try 4 plus 2.1 first if you recognize that it might not add up to the greater than the third side. So no. So will he be able to make a triangle with these scraps of wood? No, he will not. Number 4, what is the area of the triangle? So on your star chart, you have this formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. I like to use this formula, base times height divided by 2, because the third step of this formula is the second or first step of this formula. So it's just easier to do. I'm going to erase that star because I went to use base times height divided by 2. So here we have our, when we're using a right triangle, it is where both lines meet the right angle. So if this had a measurement and we were confused on which one the height was, it would be at that right angle. So we have a height and we have a base. Again, you should have this work done already and just be checking your answer. So if you, anytime you want to try, you didn't do that, you need to press pause and try the problem on your own. And then what I am doing is just walking through a completed problem that you already have on your paper for you to check for mistakes or to see if you got it right and you didn't find mistakes, which is awesome. That means that you're ready for tomorrow. But please don't try to just copy everything down as I'm writing. You're going to get confused and it's not going to do anything for you. Press pause, do the problem on your own, and then check your work and rewatch the problem. Okay. So area equals your base, which is 10, and your height, which is 12, divided by 2. So area equals, the first thing that we're going to do here is 10 times 2. 10 times 12. So 10 times 12 we should know is 120, and then divide that by 2. Okay, so area equals 120 divided by 2. Half of 120 is, if you don't know, go off to the side, but you should have the answer for this already, which is 60 millimeters squared. Don't forget, when we find area, our unit is squared. Okay, so then moving on to number 5. Number 5 says to order the sides in order from from least length to greatest. So least to greatest. Always like to write that really big to remind me what I'm doing, okay? And this should not say sides. So if it gives you sides, it wants you to order the angles. So slight correction there, angles. I'm sure you figured that out based on using your notes to help you find this problem. So least to greatest, then I go and look at my side lengths and I number them. What is my smallest side length? And that is 70 yards. And then my next smallest is 90 yards, and then my next smallest is 150. Okay, so this is where we draw our arrows, and the diagonal or the straight across from the smallest side length is your smallest angle. So I start at 70, and if I just go, sorry, wrong direction. If I just go straight across, that gets me there. No, the goal is to draw an arrow at the angle that's straight across, and that's this angle right here. Okay, so that is your smallest angle. So that is angle Q. Okay, so then we're going to go to the next one. Again, if I just draw it straight across, it's not going to get me to my angle. The goal is to draw it straight across to an angle, which happens to be angle S. Okay, and then my last one here in straight across, I meant to change my color, here in straight across, which is angle R. Okay. Number 6. Some traffic signs, like the yield sign shown, I feel like it has the wrong picture on that. Yield signs shown are in the shape of an equilateral triangle. Write and solve an equation for x, and do not forget to balance. Okay, so it's talking about in angles. So in the angle. So here we have 3x. It's kind of why I stopped on that problem earlier, because we're doing it right now. So all 3 angles add up to be 180 degrees, right? So I don't know this value, which means it is 3. Well, why is it 3x? Because it's an equilateral triangle, right? So if it's an equilateral triangle, all 3 angles are the same. So I have one angle that's 3x plus another angle that's 3x plus another angle that's 3x. And all of these add up to 180 degrees. So because all of these are like terms, they all have an x with them, I get to add them together. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So all of these together is 9x equal to 180. So then this is just a one-step equation where I divide by 9 on both sides, and x equals 180 divided by 9. 9 goes into 18 two times. And then bring your 0 down and 0. So x is 20. It's not degrees because that's not the entire angle. If I were to ask you to find the angle, I would have to multiply 3 times x to get that angle. But, okay, moving on to the next video.